If only it was that easy. Come on, curve it, man. Hey, what's up guys? Chris Cohen here, and Black Friday has probably happened by the time you watch this. Did you buy anything good? Did you feel like you maybe have spent a tiny bit too much? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now today we have probably, I'm pretty sure now, because I've said this before and I was wrong, the final Overwatch cinematic to react to, which is called Dragons of the Nexus, which is from the Heroes of the Storm kind of like cinematic game thing, which is basically all of Blizzard's games that kind of like can interact with each other. I'm pretty excited because Hanzo is pretty cool as well, and he reminds me, oh, what was the game? I used to play this with my brother and the boys back in the days on PlayStation. Soul Calibur. Hanzo really reminds me of one of the characters in that game, because my brother used to play with him and win over me sometimes. But anyways, I'm not mad about it. So that's what we're doing today, guys. Tethered in and ready to click. Not my best. Okay, so YouTube full screen and 1, 2, 3. Oh, crude humor again. What's so funny about it though? A castle. Cool transition. There we go. Straight in the action on this one. That's cool. If only it was that easy. Come on, curve it, man.
Impressive, Archer.
Archer.
But
why do all elves have those massive eyebrows?
You have no idea what I am capable of.
Good. Because you must be ready for anything.
Oh, seize the dragon! Nice. Slow motion epicness, let's go! What is an arrow gonna do to the dragon? Yes, I've seen The Hobbit. I like how they curve. Change strategy, Hanzo. Nice. This reminds me of Lord of the... Sick! Dragon versus Ghost Dragon. Oh shit! He did do it actually. That's a cool shot. Before me. Yeah, she did.
You show promise, Hanzo. Well done.
You have passed my first test, young one.
But greater challenges
Await.
still await us.
I believe we are ready.
It's time to find out.
What is that? The gates fell. Is it all the games? I think it's all the games. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Okay. First things first, like the cinematic. Second things second, like this video as well, guys. It always helps. And if you're enjoying these reactions, hit that subscribe button. Trying to think. I do that often, you know. This was really cool. I didn't feel there was much. It didn't hit me. You know what I mean? It was really cool, really entertaining to watch, but it kind of left me as nice, you know, versus that was sick. Like dragons, for example. Yeah, that's probably because those things do not have as much, how do you say it, substance, I guess. But it was still really cool, a really cool fight, really cool progression as well. Like, he turns to a dragon, he then has to fight a dragon, he then has to take down the dragon, and then kind of like they give you a glimpse of what's to come with all the portals that happen. So it was really cool, guys. As always, in part 2, we'll dive right back in and talk about some cool filmmaking techniques used, some visual effects like the orb. That was really sick, actually. And I love me sci-fi and fantasy. I always try to incorporate visual effects in my storytelling because I find them to be a great spark of creativity and imagination. Because if you make a narrative piece on a real life story, that is great. You know what I mean? Story and character can have such an impact on the audience. But I also feel that fantasy and sci-fi, even though it can be considered as less because it's like, oh, it's just, you know, beautiful colors and explosions happening, I do find it that it can transport the audience to another imagination kind of like level, let's put it that way. So if I hit 0, we're gonna go back to the start, full screen again. We have the classic level of, what am I trying to say? I don't know, you guys know what I'm saying, the rating basically. So we have an establishing shot of a very foggy and misty castle situation. Again, we're missing the Blizzard Entertainment Presents logo. And we got a close-up of a chase. I love that, man. That is really smart, the way that's done. If we go frame by frame, you can see her running past us, but her... oh, how is it called? What does Superman have? Cape! Yes. You know what that feeling when you forget about something and then you struggle and you're like, oh, come on, brain. I get happy when I remember on the spot. So her cape flips past us, but they use it as a transition to the next shot. That is really cool, man. And then she casts an orb. I love orbs, actually, in the Creatrix... well, now not Creatrix, in the Guerrilla Filmmaker store. I do have my own orbs pack, guys, if you want to check it out. And I've done multiple effects with orbs, like even the, what was it called? From the Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball orb. That was a really cool one that you guys liked as well. And they're sick and very relatively straightforward to do as visual effects because you have a pre-rendered asset, and then what the talent needs to do for live action is to simply hold the hands and then cast something like this. Then you place the orb between those hands and then you create light effects and so on. And actually the cure spell in Final Fantasy VII Resurgence, which was done from the character of Delta, was done in the exact same way. Boom, hands. Cool move, orb, in. You can really create some very cool effects with orbs. Now the cool thing is, guys, and the trick to them is, once you place the orb, that orb is a source of light. So naturally, you need to cast light on its environment and the things that are close to it. So the way to do this is to put some masking, or if you want to do it with live action kind of like tricks, you have an LED panel, and when the character does that cool move, someone stands literally like down here, and they will flip up the LED that has the same color hue as your asset, and it will naturally illuminate the actor that does it. That's the best way and most realistic way, but also you can do some very cool tricks in post-production with adjustment layers and other effects, which you can then mask up and create a similar effect, but because it happens so quickly, you can pull it off. Oh! Very classic cinematography storyboard we have here. You have a wide angle of the action happening, then you cut and you put the character in one of the thirds. You guys, I'm sure you know the rule of thirds by now, where you segment the frame into 1, 2, 3 thirds, and you place the character in one of the thirds. This way, you give them breathing room, as well as the audience, to where the character is and what they are looking towards to. Because if you put that face here, looking over, it feels very restricted because there's no space for them to look. This is some very basic filmmaking stuff, but always good to remind ourselves of them. See? The white that I was referring to. Oh. I love that shot. That is such a sick shot. And actually something you can make yourself, because do you see how much motion blur is there? You can use that motion blur to cut two different shots together by using the motion blur as the intercut link, because the eyes cannot define any object due to that motion blur. If you pan the camera in one shot, then you record a new shot, and you pan the camera again, you can link the two on that blurring motion, and the audience will not tell. And it's a sick thing to use. Boom. And you can do the same, because the character can already have the arrow in the hand, and with your camera moved, timed right, poof, doom, done.
Impressive, Archer.
Yeah, that's really hard to do actually. You need 3D, and you will have a 3D arrow that then is going to turn into a branch.
But you'll need to do better than that.
You have no idea what I am capable of.
Good. Because you must be ready for anything.
I really like the setting actually. Even the church has dragons on the murals. Boom! And now I'm a dragon! Oh, that's so cool, man. I've actually have not done a slow motion explosion with a cool character doing something. And to work with I loved, if you guys notice, when the dragon roars, they're implementing a camera shake as well. Putting a camera shake in an explosion, on an earthquake, on a very powerful moment is a great way to visually also make things have power and motion to them. I love that they're coming to the camera as well. We all know what we're waiting for. Sick. Boom. That's what I want to see. So basically, this is essentially doing the following, right? It cuts to the character of Hanzo having to attack, then move position. And then you cut to the dragon where it has to follow, kind of like calibrate its position, I guess, and fire a fireball again. And you cut between those two to cut the action through. Now, usually there is something called the basic coverage. And basic coverage describes the fact that if you want to make sure that you can make something on the edit, you record the basic coverage of it, and that includes a wide of the action happening, and then one angle for one character doing the moves, and then another angle for the other character doing the moves. This way you have three camera recordings to cut the action to. You show the wide, and then you cut to one of the characters slicing the sword. Then you cut to the other character moving away from the sword. This way you can keep cutting and cutting between those three recordings and get an action sequence in the edit. Of course, this is the bare bone basics, that's why it's called basic coverage, but even then you can ensure that you have something to work with. Boom! Blue versus red, just saying. It's very fun. Really good use of the soundtrack, fading away as Hazard jumps. Now, very interestingly, in the last episode, I told you guys that I felt that the environment setting was not as dramatic as it could be, because it was very sunny and very colorful and pretty while things were happening. And I said on that episode that I would have far preferred a more moody, dark, cloudy kind of situation. In this one, it is kind of like moody, dark. It has that fog atmosphere and so on, which I do think works in the favor. Because if this was also super sunny and colorful, it's a bit like, it's too fairy tale-esque. Great shot of the eye.
Yield!
Again, great showcase of the rule of thirds, because the lines, character in 1/3, and then the arrow and the line and the weapon on the other third. Good close-up. Oh, this is an example of an extreme close-up. Now, of course, you can go even more extreme, like in the eye and so forth. But this composition here, in a 21:9 ratio, is quite drastic. And this is very good to be used when you want to really focus on the expression of the character, because someone may say something, and if the actor is good, they will make a slight expression. And if you use this composition, you can really tell to the audience what they are thinking and so forth. I've actually done a similar composition. Even, it wasn't as close up, but in the Kingdom Hearts teaser for 2023, there is a shot like this and focus on the eyes to really get the sensation to the audience of what the character is going through without saying much. And she turns back to human form.
You show promise, Hanzo.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
But greater challenges still await us.
I believe we are ready.
It's time to find out.
That's a cool effect too. Taking the fog out. Which reminds me, I'll tell you in a sec. That's actually a very, very easy effect to do. If you know, so if we go frame by frame, I want to show you something. Do you see how bright it is here? I use this all the time to transition between an effect not taking place yet and an effect already in place. When you can use light effects and exposure effects, that kind of like quick flash, to hide visual effect transitions. Here they didn't really have to do this, but it really reminded me of that, and I want you guys to know that as well. Using that flash effect is a great way to transition between, let's say, I'm fading away versus me being there, or like another actor doing something else. It's great. And even this is very easy. It's literally just like, a white solid in a shape with some, diffraction effects, and then through it you can see what's behind. Very cool. Heroes of the Storm. Let me know what you thought of this Overwatch cinematic down in the comment section below. Very cool. It's sad because we'll probably have to wait quite a bit for another of like Blizzard Entertainment Overwatch cinematic, but let's hope it's in the works. And I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, stay awesome and creative.